Like any other cutting tool, an axe works at its absolute best and most efficient when it's sharp. However, I want to quantify what I mean by sharp. There are a lot of videos and books about sharpening an axe to a razor sharp forearm shaving sharp, and that's not really what I'm going to cover here. While that might be useful with a hatchet with which you're going to do a little bit of woodworking, a good working axe needs what I like to call a workman-like edge. It's crisp, it's clean, it comes to a very exact edge, but it doesn't need to be honed into a razor sharp, because keep in mind you're chopping wood, which is almost always embedded with dirt, grit, gravel. Even a standing tree has a lot of residue stuck inside the bark. What I'm going to show you is how to use either a file or a diamond file to sharpen your axe quick and easy, so you can get back to the fun part, which is chopping wood. So I find that the best setup for me is to have my axe held by a vise, because it's really a two-handed job. You can sort of struggle through pinning it with one hand and filing with the other, but this vise comes in super handy, and this particular vise, which is our big mechanics vise, has a set of pipe jaws in the lower area underneath, and that's perfect for round or semi-round objects like the axe handle. So I've got it solidly viced up here, and the two really good choices for sharpening are, this is our mill file, but you may also choose to use this double-sided diamond file. One side is 300 grit and the other is 600 grit. Both are super effective. The advantage of perhaps the diamond file is that because it's two different grits, you have the opportunity to use it on a few other sharpening jobs. If you have a machete you need to keep tuned up, or even something like garden shears or pruners, this would come in a lot handier than a mill file, which is a much cruder but fast working tool. So in order to keep track of the effectiveness of my filing and knowing that I'm really sharpening the edge, I don't really worry about angles. I just worry about working right on the edge of the axe. So I use a Sharpie or some sort of marker and put a black mark along the edge there. And my goal is to remove metal where it matters, which is right where the two surfaces meet at the edge. I don't stress too much about the angle. I simply watch where the metal becomes bright and adjust my stroke based on that. So here you can see I'm nailing the angle just right. Had I maybe had it up too much, you see where the bright metal exposes way up here in the cheek. I just have it too high. I need to pivot down some more and keep going. I like to break up the edge into sections. So I'm working from the absolute bottom of the edge up to the middle, and then I transition and I'm doing just the middle. Lots of generous overlap here, and then I work up to the tip. And in close inspection you can see a very consistent bright line of exposed metal along the edge. I'll do that for a minute or so, then I'll flip it over and do the other edge. You want to work both edges simultaneously. If I'm working with the diamond file, it's the same thing, just slightly different ergonomics. This axe has been well cared for and is in good shape, so I don't even need to start at 300 grit. If it had some nicks in it or had, been abused, I might start there, but since it's already in good shape, if I was using the diamond file, my action would be the same, and I'd be using the 600 grit because it's just a maintenance, a touch-up filing job. I work my way from the bottom to the top, and remember to flip it over and do the same amount of work on the other side so you keep the edges symmetrical when you sharpen. If you are using a file, eventually the grooves in the face of the file will be clogged with metal bits, because essentially that's what you're doing. You're removing metal and reshaping the edge. And maintenance every couple of minutes is just as simple as using a wire brush to clean out the grooves in the file. I'm pulling the brush across the file in the exact same direction that the grooves go, and that cleans them out so the aggressiveness of the cutting grooves remains in good working order. And that's it. It's fairly easy. Give it a try, and good luck with yours.